Yes, I agree, like I said earlier in this video, but we have to be aggressive within reason. And that's the key. We have to be aggressive within reason. Hey, what's going on? Quis here from Sports Vibes TV, and Stefan Bondi is reporting that Tom Thibodeau is saying the Knicks need to be a little bit more aggressive in their pursuit for a star player. Now, me personally, I agree with what Tom Thibodeau is saying, but I don't think it's as simple as whether we should be aggressive or whether we should not be aggressive. I think it's we should be aggressive, but not to the point where we get suckered into a bad deal. Now, I liked what Leon Rose did this offseason. He wasn't too aggressive. He didn't enter into any bad deals, I would say. And it allowed us to remain flexible for the future. And the reason I like that is because this is Leon Rose's first time in this position. I didn't want him going out there and getting finessed by some of these other GMs. Also, the GM right now, the GM that we have on the team is Scott Perry. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm confident in what Scott Perry can do as our GM. So I would rather, have Leon Rose bring in this coaching staff that is very good at developing players and getting the best out of the talent that they're given, and working and having this year as one of those developmental years. That way, next offseason, when we inevitably move on from Scott Perry, Leon Rose then can survey the landscape of GM candidates, bring in someone he trusts, and at that point, hopefully we're bringing in a master finesser, and then we can start reaching out to these teams and trying to get some of these disgruntled players for the low. To me, I think that would be the perfect route to go. Now, if you want to tell me, if you want to say Tibbs wants to expedite this process right now, or expedite the rebuild right now, then I've also made a few realistic rebuilds where I was aggressive, but I wasn't aggressive to the point where I was sacrificing first round draft picks. I was still able to bring in players that are pretty good contributors or solid pieces that also help accentuate some of our young talent. So if you guys want to check that out, that I'll have linked up above for you guys. Now, personally, if Tibbs decides that we should be aggressive and we should start making moves now, there's not too many players on the roster that I would consider untouchables. There's RJ and then there's Obi. And depending on which player you're saying is available, Mitch could also be up for grabs, because it seems like there's some friction slowly building with Mitch. And it seems like if we can get something, or if we can get an upper echelon player, upper echelon point guard that's going to help in the development of Obi and RJ, at this point, I would say we have to consider it and try not to give up our future first. I would rather go to next year's draft class and potentially replace Mitch that way. So I've also reviewed some film where I kind of show where a elite point guard could potentially help some of these younger players, because you can see it in the film. The spacing is poor. We don't necessarily have a point guard that's able to initiate the pick and roll with both Obi and Mitch and get them into a position that's easy for them to score. If you want to check that out, I dropped that yesterday. I'll link that for you guys up above as well. But, in conclusion, I just want to know what you guys, do you think the Knicks should be as aggressive as Tibbs is saying we should be? Yes, I agree, like I said earlier in this video, but we have to be aggressive within reason. And that's the key. We have to be aggressive within reason. If we go out and we make these trades that are going to be detrimental to our long-term success just in the sake of being aggressive, then it seems like we're just going to be on this hamster wheel again, just running in place, running in place, running in place. If we're able to develop internally, move some of these spare parts to bring in a point guard that's going to be able to tie in all of our players on the roster, and that would include Quickley, that would include Miles Powell and some of the other draft picks we have, then I would say it's a go. Also, let me specify. I don't want to say Quickley and Miles Powers are untouchables because I don't necessarily know what they're going to be. So it's hard for me to speak on whether or not they should be untouchables. But if you're telling me there's a Devin Booker that's available and wants to come to New York, you're going to have a hard time trying to defend saying we're not going to include a Miles Power or Quickley. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I once again, I think Tibbs is right, but we just have to be aggressive within reason. All right. Once again, I'm Quis, host of Sports Vibes TV, and I'm out.